Hey, welcome into the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. It's your host, Mac, joined with my main man, Lando. Lando, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. I am jacked up to do this live stream. We are going deep. We are doing for the long haul. We're starting early today. Man, last year we were 12-1. We're here at 11 a.m. answering start sit questions for all of y'all.
It's because
So
you're
let's get
crazy,
it.
man. You are
That's it.
crazy, certifiably
Yeah.
crazy. We've got producer Scott in the background. You can get him at Scott of the North. You can get myself at mtout23. You can get Lando at Lando_FF. And this week, not so much of a laundry list of names out, but there are still some notables. So let's go through the injury protocol first here. Talk about who's definitely declared out, who might trend to play, and who's in. So let's go through the outs because they are the most important. Michael Thomas is out this week. The report right now is trending that he will be ready for week 4. But as of right now, Michael Thomas out. Are you willing to start Emmanuel Sanders or Tre'Quan Smith in this game against the Packers?
I will not start Emmanuel Sanders. We did not see him involved at all last week, but I will start Tre'Quan Smith. He looked like a man out there, and he impressed me a lot. He impressed me a lot in the absence, and it looked like Drew Brees trusted him and was his go-to guy.
It looks like he's picking up the slack for sure. Heavily targeted, highly involved. It'll be interesting to see what they can do against a pretty good Green Bay secondary, but I would consider Tre'Quan for a flex play. Of course, you can get us with those individual questions in the comments. We've got A.J. Brown still out. Now, some people thought he might play. This probably speaks to a strong Corey Davis start against a soft Minnesota Vikings defense. All systems go on the Corey Davis front. George Kittle still not going to play this week. Jordan Reed is a decent start if you are diving at the tight end position trying to get a stream. Then we've got Christian Kirk declared out. He's been disappointing so far, so I'm kind of glad I don't have to tempt myself with that. Zach Moss is out for the Buffalo Bills going up against the Los Angeles Rams. It'll be the Devin Singletary show, and I know that Landon has a ton of exposure to Singletary in his fantasy leagues, in his DFS lineups for sure. So hopefully it's a big Devin Singletary day. I think you'd be very happy if that were the case.
Absolutely, Mac. So A.J. Brown is out as well. It seemed like his knee bruise is significant, and you might miss some serious time. Oh, you said that. Sorry, you just literally just said that.
It's okay, Lando.
You know what? I'm just trying to get my feet under me here. But so the questionable ones are your
video.
My video's small.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a connection issue. It'll blow back up once we're good.
The questionable ones, Mac, are the ones that we are going to be getting a lot of questions with, and that's going to be Devontae Adams questionable and Julio Jones questionable. Now, Julio, for those two guys, I don't expect them to play, either of them.
Mm-hmm.
So even if Julio plays, I'm going to sit Julio down. I think his outlook is bleak. It's not looking great. I am playing Russell Gage, and obviously you're playing Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
This guy's locked in potentially as a top 5 finisher in the NFL for wide receivers. And but I'm playing I'm considering Russell Gage in all my flex positions as well.
Dang. Devontae Adams, this is one we should talk about before we get into some questions. Devontae Adams is going to be a game time decision tonight. And so with a heavily involved fantasy matchup with the Chiefs and the Ravens come Monday night, if you have Devontae Adams and like a Marquise Brown, or, I don't think you'd have Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill, but if you have options from that KC Baltimore matchup, you do have the luxury of waiting out Devontae Adams if he will play or not. Make sure that he is in your flex and not in your wide receiver slot. However, I don't know if I'm willing to take the chance on Adams this week. I tend to think that he will not play And so, again, if you have another player from that KC-Baltimore game, you might, as well as having Adams, then you have the luxury of waiting to pivot. But if you don't, I think I would move off of Devontae Adams now and get somebody else in there.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, Mac. I agree. I'm going to sit down Adams unless you have a Lazard or even an MBS. You can, I guess, consider it.
Right.
Traquan Smith, you can consider it. Or these Monday night games, we have a big one with if you have a Hardman or Hollywood Brown. I'm gonna pivot at least and wait and see until game time decision.
Yeah, and maybe you have a Devontae Adams, Traquan Smith, or you can go pick up Traquan Smith on your waiver. If you can afford to do that and maybe drop a defense or drop somebody else, a fringe tight end or something, that might be something that you, again, can afford to wait it out. But I'm moving off of Devontae Adams. So
right on, man.
Let's jump into some of these questions here. Jump, Judy, Godwin, Slayton, or Cup, pick 2.5 PPR. This one is Godwin and Cup for me.
Yeah, same here. I love Slayton this week. He presents a ton of upside, but you still have to go with your studs, Jump, Judy, and Godwin. Godwin's in for a big one. I do believe Cup is in for a big game as well. He should get way more targets than Slayton. They're in a better offense. Mm-hmm. It's they're 2-0, that team, and you got to go with Cup.
Yeah, I agree. Jamal Jones, need to start one. Marvin Jones or KJ Hamler. That is a Marvin Jones, brother.
Definitely Marvin Jones, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got a new goal of 350 subscribers. We hit 300 this morning. You guys are killing it.
And a big
thanks for coming by.
A big thanks to those that have helped us get to 300. This is fantastic. Our focus is to grow a community, and so far so good. Let's go through some more. Rich, is Kenny G trustable, and should he be started over a guy like Jerick McKinnon? So my rule right now for this week, and any players returning, I typically like to wait out a week. However, Kenny G is a guy you drafted second, third round. We should lose sight of that, but you do want him to play because he is a cornerstone of your team. So for a guy like Jerick McKinnon, though, I look at this Niners team, I think they're going to struggle. They're without Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk is playing. They're without Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, Jimmy Garoppolo on the defensive side of the ball, no Bosa. I think there's a lot of holes in this team. I don't know if they're going to have the ability to run the ball like they usually do, and I'm not really putting too much stock into Jerick McKinnon to do that. So I am going to start Kenny G because he's a stud. I'll take the chance that he will outperform a guy that hasn't played football in 2 years in Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, I'm playing Jerick McKinnon in a couple spots in DFS, but he got really chalky. So then I've kind of pivoted. Mm-hmm. I'm playing maybe Jeff Wilson, hoping for a touchdown. It could be a little bit of a mess in that game. So yeah, I go Kenny G. I know Mac was saying, and I thought this was a great question because Mac is sitting down Kenny G as best as he can, and we're gonna have a lot of questions about him today. But in that specific matchup, you got to go with your stud Kenny and hope for a big game. Hopefully they waited long enough for Kenny G. They didn't rush him back.
Right.
He hasn't played yet this season, so I don't blame you one bit. Start Kenny G, especially if you need that upside.
Yeah, Rich, thanks so much for the question. That was a really, really good one. Zach Wolf, welcome into the stream. Jerry Jeudy or Traquan Smith? Ooh, this is splitting hairs for me. I mean, both seem to be the alphas. I think we're going to have differing answers here, Landon, but I'm going to go with the better talent in Jerry Jeudy.
No, man, I agree with you. I would go Jerry Jeudy.
All right.
I would go.
Yeah, I mean, they're similar. They're similar in the rankings. So, don't lose sight of the fact that you are splitting hairs there, but I do think that Jerry Jeudy presents more upside.
Yeah.
I think he's the better receiver. Sure. So thanks for the question, Zach. Simon Lee, Allen Robinson, I read that wrong. Aaron Rodgers or Ryan Tannehill?
So I'm playing Tannehill in a ton of my DFS.
I know you are.
Now, with that being said, I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers is the better talent, and even against a tough New Orleans defense, he's probably the play. You still got to stick with Aaron Rodgers. New Orleans, their defense didn't look that great against Derek Carr. Even though we expect New Orleans to have a really good defense, I think you still go with Rodgers. Now, Mac, are you on the same page as me? Or are you going to pivot to Tannehill because Aaron Rodgers is probably going to miss Devontae Adams?
I mean, to me, it all hinges on does Devontae Adams play, and
Right.
because that's Rodgers' safety valve, and if he doesn't play, it might be a heavy dose of Aaron Jones, who has been productive out of the backfield. But I'm not, the upside of Aaron Rodgers without Devontae Adams, his number one red zone threat, definitely goes down. I think I look to Tannehill in today's matchup to, even though I think the Packers will beat the Saints, I'm still going to look to Ryan Tannehill for a fantasy matchup. So that's what I'm going to do there. Really, really good question. Zach also comes back and asks, any defense worth streaming opposed to the Philadelphia Eagles? So I actually think that the Bengals are going to beat the Eagles. So I think that game's going to be high scoring. I am willing to actually stream the Atlanta Falcons against the Chicago Bears. Mitch Trubisky has not been his usual self, fumbling the ball and throwing interceptions, and I think this might be a game where we see the Atlanta defense do something out of nowhere. Do you have any plays, Lando? You're pretty good at taking up the defensive streams.
So I liked the Atlanta play, but we saw one of their cornerbacks go out for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of gonna stay away from now the Atlanta game. I get your
rationale there.
Rationale behind it, but I'll play the Washington football team's defense. I will play. I'm going to play the Jets defense as a super risky streamer. I know they're available on every single waiver wire right now. I'm just thinking that Phillip Rivers is own, and man, it's such a risky play. It could just be the Jonathan Taylor show, and then there's no point to stream the defense. But that's the high risk play. The Jets is what I'm going with. I think the Cardinals are okay defense.
Yeah, I'm not in on the Jets. I think they're going to get steamrolled here.
Grab
the Cardinals
the
isn't
Seahawks. Bad. Grab the Seahawks right now. They've got a good schedule coming up after this game against Dallas. They've got Dolphins and the Vikings.
Because we're on the Dallas Cowboys, I saw that A. Murphy, Lamb, or Fournette in his flex. I would go CD Lamb.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the podcast. The Dallas Cowboys are running 84% of their plays in 11 personnel, which means they have a 3 wide receiver set 84% of the time. So they are really committed to throwing the ball and getting it to one of their 3 receivers in Cooper, Gallup, or Lamb. They run 11 personnel 84% of the time. They throw it 60%. So heavily trying to use those 3 wide receivers. And we have seen CeeDee Lamb take a couple end arounds trying to use him out of the backfield. So he's being worked in as much as he can into this offense with Mike McCarthy. So I would go CeeDee Lamb.
Yep, for sure.
Simon Lee says, good work, guys. He'll give a sub. Thank you so much, Simon. You're number 301, brother, so appreciate it. And for those of you coming into the stream, welcome. We do this every single week, 11:30. Today we're going 11 till 12:45, a little extended. Just because of Lando here, he loves you guys. He just wants to be here all day if I didn't cut him off. But we've got 18 of you with us. If we could get those likes up to 18, that would be fantastic, or some feedback would be appreciated. Michael says Marvin Jones or Brandon Cooks. Oh, this one is sneaky. What's your gut say here, Landon? I'll check our rankings real quick. I think it's Marvin Jones, though.
I think it's Marvin Jones as well. Marvin Jones plays better with Kenny G on the field. I have a lot of Marvin Jones and Michael Gallup guys. And these number 2 wide receivers in their respective offenses will get a lot of work. They're going to get a lot of targets, especially Gallup. I think Gallup's a great buy low option for the wide receiver position. And Marvin Jones is too. Marvin Jones you can probably get for a song. his value is low, especially with the news of Kenny G. So based on the floor and what we saw from what we know that Marvin Jones is, you got to go with that. Sneakily, Brandon Cooks had almost 100 yards last week. He looked like a good go-to guy for Deshaun Watson. We're not sure if Fuller's going to play. I'm sitting Fuller down in every single matchup I have.
Sure.
I don't want to be stuck with the play 2 plays and go out with a hamstring injury. That is not what I want. And Will Fuller is just
week 2, and we're already in the Will Fuller injury spot. So I mean, you hate to see this. The Pittsburgh Steelers is a tough defensive matchup, and if I can get away from Brandon Cooks, I will. We have Marvin Jones about 15 spots higher than Brandon Cooks, so it is Marvin Jones. And funny enough, the splits between Marvin Jones when he's with and without Kenny G is actually supporting the with Kenny G side. He seems to be more fantasy relevant as the number 2, so put some confidence into that. I think Marvin Jones is the play. Yep. Rich says, if Allen Robinson puts up another dud, is it time to move on? I argue no. I'm a big Allen Robinson fan. I mean, even last year, 150 targets. He's still the alpha in this offense. Mitchell Trubisky actually does look better than he has the last 2 seasons, which, whatever. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is the future of this team, but I do think that there is a positive correlation to his improved play and his love for Allen Robinson. So I think Allen Robinson bounces back in a pretty soft matchup against the Falcons. I do expect Mitch to get a little bit sloppy at times, maybe throw a pick or 2, but Allen Robinson will get his double-digit targets for sure.
Love it. Love it. I'm big on A-Rod this week to bounce back.
NK17, hey guys. Yo, what's up, buddy? Jonnu or Tyler Higbee? Oh, man. We're talking about 2 top 10 tight ends this week. What are you going with, Lando?
Jonnu.
You're going Jonnu.
Jonnu is where I'm going with. I know Higbee had a really good game. Those 3 touchdowns, it's hard to get off him. Super hard to get off him. But with what's going on, the targets being so consistent for Jonnu Smith and A.J. Brown still being gone, where, for this LA team, it could be the Cooper Kupp show or the Robert Woods show or the Darrell Henderson show. So that's where I think the secure targets are going to Jonnu.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, you're talking about 2 top 10 options, so really I don't think you can make a bad play. I think people are going to stay away from Tyler Higbee because of the Buffalo matchup, but Buffalo, I'm pretty sure when I was going through stats this week that they are one of the worst teams in the league defending the tight end. So there is something there. I think Minnesota's down there as well. So, yeah, I think I lean Tyler Higbee. But there is a narrative to explore there with Jonnu Smith having an increased role again, even getting balls out of the backfield with no A.J. Brown in the lineup. So I'm going to go Higbee, but I don't think you have a wrong play. Sorry that Landon and I are dissimilar on that one, but I've been a big Higbee truther, playing him in a lot of leagues, and so far, really, really solid in those plays. 3 touchdowns last week. Tough to get away from the hot hand.
Definitely.
Jonnu had 2 though, so again, you got 2 solid options there. I would definitely hang on to both of them and maybe even try to flip one later.
Super great. We have some more questions. I saw. I'm just blitzing Twitter right now, Mac. He's got Helaire versus Baltimore or Mike Davis at the flex. Carlos Helaire. Thanks for the question, man. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to that 350. But you got to stick with your stud, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know you picked up Mike Davis for a ton of money on the waiver wire. I would rather see it first. It's not. It's a decent matchup for. I don't remember actually now who they play.
Sorry, who's that?
Carolina.
Oh geez, why is it? Why does it escape my mind?
Escaping me.
Carolina plays the Chargers.
The Chargers are a top defense. I knew it wasn't great. So that's another reason why to go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even against the stout Baltimore defense.
It's still the Kansas City Chiefs. This game's going to be high scoring. At some point in professional football, the offenses, far outplay the defenses, and this is 2 examples of just that. It's going to be a high scoring game, I think, and if it's not, I'll be extremely shocked. I would definitely go with your stud, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Don't try to get cute. Splash Triplet, who was
Sounds
a
good,
new
man.
sub late. I think he was maybe $2.99 or $300. So thank you so much for giving your vote of confidence to us. He says DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin, or Terry McLaurin. You need us to pick two. I mean, this is a studly little lineup here.
Absolutely right,
I've got a
sir.
lot of faith in Chris Godwin coming back. I mean, he honestly should have played last week. He just entered concussion protocol late, and Tom Brady desperately wants that slot receiver back. So Chris Godwin is a lock out of this lineup for me. Is it for you?
Yeah, Chris Godwin, you could absolutely lock in. I think they're going to play Baltimore really well. It's going to be a Tom Brady narrative where he doesn't want to mess around. He wants to destroy the Broncos if he can. And Godwin's going to be hyper
More
targeted.
Kupp, McLaurin. I mean, McLaurin does have the softest defensive matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Moore playing the Chargers and Cooper Kupp playing the Buffalo Bills. For the matchup alone, do you lean Terry McLaurin coming off a really good week, or do you want to go with Moore or Kupp?
I would probably go, if I were to rank them, I would go more McLaurin, Kupp.
Okay, I would go McLaurin, Kupp, Moore, but they are very, very close. I mean, these are four receivers in the top 20 this week for us. So I think we're going McLaurin, Godwin. Yeah. Flip a coin on McLaurin and Moore. Who knows? Depends what you need too. I think if you need a boom game, you probably go with McLaurin, and if you need that safety, maybe you go with Cooper Kupp instead. It's a good way to put it. Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. Danny S is back. Dion Lewis or Russell Gage at the flex. I have absolutely zero faith in Dion Lewis to do anything productive today. I think they're going to feed Devonta Freeman, and so I'm going Russell Gage. If Julio Jones does not play, which as you can see on our screen, he is doubtful to play as of right now, Russell Gage is a boom play, coming off double-digit targets. I like the Russell Gage love.
Yep, I'm big on Russell Gage. I'll play him over
Traquan Smith or Michael Pittman in a half PPR, Orlando.
I'll go Traquan.
Yeah, I would as well. No question. Rich says, what's the outlook for Woods today, Robert Woods? I actually am playing Jared Goff in a lot of DFS lineups, and I'm stacking him with Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods or both. I actually have a lineup with all three of them. I think the reason why it's a good play for DFS is because ownership percentage might be down because of the Buffalo matchup, but I do expect them to both be productive, because if the game script flips in a way that's not favorable for the Rams, they're going to have to throw, and heavily involved are those two possession wide receivers. So I would definitely look for both of them to have a solid day, high volume for sure. If they get into the end zone, even better. But I think volume alone, they're going to be very safe for you.
Absolutely. 100%.
Love it. Corey Davis or Leonard Fournette in a PPR, Zach Wolf.
Oh, Zach, I was talking to him on Instagram earlier. Man, what do you think about this question?
Okay, so Fournette, right? Like him and Ronald Jones. I mean, Ronald Jones was the starter last week, looked great, and got 2 touchdowns vultured from him. The long touchdown from Leonard Fournette was a great play, but really the lead back was still Ronald Jones. And I think maybe in that game he lost his starting role. I still think Leonard Fournette presents touchdown upside, and if he doesn't give you the touchdown, he's not going to really win you over a week. So without the touchdown, I think he is problematic. But then again, Corey Davis, I mean, he's been so solid in the absence of A.J. Brown. What are you going with here, Lando? I think this one's really, really close.
This is really close, and I was talking to Zach about, we're not really sure about the role that Leonard Fournette has yet in that offense. It's for all we know, he gets the high value attempts, or they throw in Ronald Jones for those goal line red zone targets out of the backfield. It could be super split. So I think the floor play it's still going to be Fournette,
Oh,
especially if
I'm going the opposite direction in that.
you're going the other way.
I mean, how can the floor play be Fournette if you're looking for touchdown upside?
It's just because of if Tampa Bay should score touchdowns. They should score.
But that's
of
what I'm saying.
touchdowns
I
against
don't
Denver.
I don't think it's a safety thing with Leonard Fournette. I do think it's an
Right.
upside thing because I think Corey Davis will be targeted. And even if Corey Davis doesn't get into the end zone, he could still see 10 to 12 targets. If he catches 7 to
against
8 of those,
Minnesota,
it's
you're right.
Right?
Yeah, I think the upside plays with Corey.
Okay.
I'm kind of backwards with you, but yeah.
All right. You call that one. I think
Sorry, man.
I think I would go Corey Davis.
Yeah.
Personally, I mean, I know that the Denver line has softened a little bit with no Von Miller out for the season, but I would go Corey Davis there.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for jumping in the chat. We love all these questions. We are going to answer every single question live on the air today. I was blitzing Twitter earlier. If you're coming in from that, we appreciate you. We will answer every single question. If you haven't already, shoot a quick subscribe. It's super easy. It helps us out a ton. So
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Matthias Cappuccina. That is, hello, my friend. That is quite
That's a heck of a name.
I'll name
I love
you.
that.
He goes, is Gronk washed? I think
Yes.
Gronk is being used on this offense in a football sense, not in a fantasy football sense. The tight end getting the red zone looks right now is OJ Howard. And so,
Yeah.
Take that as you will. But, I don't like having Gronk anywhere. We took him in the Scotty Fish Bowl, for our co-host Mark, and it hasn't been great so far. So yes, I do believe he is somewhat washed. And the nicest way to put it.
Did you see him joke around that they signed him to be a blocking tight end and he's ready to block? He commented on how he's being used in that offense.
Legitimately, though. We've got so Matthias, thank you so much for the question. Barry coming in after Jonnu Smith or Hayden Hurst. That is a Jonnu Smith for me.
Yeah, it's Jonnu. I do with Julio Jones a little bit hobbled. I think Hurst will see an increased workload, but you still can't go away from Jonnu against a Minnesota team that is dreadful.
And again, if you missed it, the absence of AJ Brown. Jonnu Smith has been more involved, heavily targeted, and has lined up in the backfield several times. And I think this is interesting, and we haven't really talked about it too much on stream on the podcast we have. And you can get us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music. We're everywhere. Jonnu Smith profiles very similarly to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is an inch taller and about 15 pounds heavier, but Jonnu Smith is 6'3", 236 pounds. I mean, he profiles just like Derrick Henry, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some touches out of the backfield at some point, which really kind of gives him a little bit more value as well. So yeah, Jonnu Smith would be the play for me. Amanda.
I agree. I want to shout out David Wilson coming over from Twitter. I was spamming Twitter with people that were answering questions saying that we will answer live. And I just want to mention that we are not just a spam. We are real people. We're not bots. We answer every single question, and we're here for you.
100%.
And love it, man. I'll give you a follow back, Dave, if you're on, and we will we'll interact on Twitter. So what up, man?
What up? Amanda, welcome into the stream. Sit one. Oh, this is a different angle. I like this, Amanda. Sit one in a full PPR. David Johnson, Jarvis Landry, Jerick McKinnon, AJ Green. I'm sitting Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, I guess I'll sit McKinnon as well. I do I see the upside with McKinnon. He got a lot of work once those guys went out. I think Jerick McKinnon took a 3rd and 21 and got the first down. Like, Jerick McKinnon is a athletic freak, and we've been waiting for him to do that for quite some time. Would anyone be surprised if after 5 plays he gets hurt again? Not really.
I mean,
you have a lot of really safe options with David Johnson, even in a tough matchup. Jarvis Landry should be a PPR guy. He's getting healthier and healthier. And AJ Green has the most air yards in the league, Amanda. So It won't take long for Burrow and AJ Green to get
on the same
connected.
page.
So go with
exactly.
Yeah,
I love it, Amanda. Thank you so much for the question. Subscribe or leave a like. That would really, really help out the channel. Hardeep, welcome in, says Leonard Fournette or Julian Edelman in the flex half PPR league. I would go with Julian Edelman.
He had a career high in yards last game, and who would have thought that would come with Cam Newton? So go Edelman.
And I mean, it just goes to show that intermediate part of the field that Julian Edelman just exploits time and time again in zone coverage is very, very valuable for fantasy. And didn't really do anything special, but he was just highly targeted, and that might be a trend that we see going forward. Again, it's a safe play with Julian Edelman. Leonard Fournette is touchdown dependent. I think that's what he needs in order to be relevant on your fantasy team. I would go Edelman, but I am not the most risky fantasy player either. Nope.
You're not.
Because my teams are usually, favorited, Lando, so I'm not trying to take risks.
That's it.
Bobby, we're skipping that question. No, I'm kidding. I was supposed to play golf with Bob this morning.
Fournette over Ronald Jones for me.
Shout out to Bobby real quick, because last week I wasn't on the stream. Him and I were dueling it out for our club championship, and he edged me one stroke, Lando. One stroke. Short-sided himself on 18, had to make a clutch up and down for the win, and chipped it to a foot. It was really nice to see. So congrats to Bob. He wants to know Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette. Yikes! I don't want to make that decision.
If it's between Mackenzie Tout or Bobby, I'm gonna get Bobby on the stream because I don't want losers on my podcast.
Well, I mean, I am a 2-time champion to his 1 time, so what?
All right, you can stick around.
I would go with Leonard Fournette, and again, just because of the touchdown upside, when it seems so far that the trend is when the Bucs get to the goal line, they're featuring Leonard Fournette over Ronald Jones. So I would continue to go Leonard Fournette there for the score.
Sounds good.
Oh man. Boy. Should I play Mahomes or Lamar this week? Can you start them both? Can you get your league to change this to super flex?
Yeah, because that would be a winning roster. You gotta go Lamar Jackson.
Really?
The Kansas City defense is not great. Lamar, I think, gets back and puts 100 yards on the ground. That boy is gonna get.
Can we just? I think honestly, Doback. I think having both of these players, you need to pick one, and you need to sell the other because you're gonna be able to get a massive haul. And putting Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson on your bench every other week is certainly not advantageous. You're gonna hate yourself for trying to pretty much figure this out every single week. So find someone in your league who's QB needy, who's be willing to pay. I think there's a lot of fantasy players that be willing to pay full pop for Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes. So I would look after this week to sell and pick up, a running back and a wide receiver for Pat Mahomes. And then, when Lamar Jackson has his bye week, just stream somebody for the week. But I would try to get 1 or 2 pieces, definitely 2 pieces for Pat Mahomes or a high-end running back. That would be my play. But yeah, I don't know. They'll probably finish in the top 5 this week. So
he's in I think this might be Misha coming in the stream. He was in our listener league last year. Remember him? He drafted
the Cleveland
all
Browns.
the Cleveland Browns and Tom Brady. Yeah, so he's got both guys. No selling. He's got to make this decision every single week. And I feel for you, man. That's a tough way to do it.
Yeah, trade one, brother. But yeah, go Lamar.
He can't sell. They have no trading.
They have no what? Get out of that league,
no
brother.
trading.
Get out of that league. That is junk. Oh man, I just lost where we were. Damn, we have a lot of questions to catch up on, Land. Okay, let's go rapid fire here. Matthias Cappuccina back again. Love that name, man. It just flows. It's so nice. Do you think the Cowboys have a chance against Seattle? I do, but I do think Seattle comes out on top. They are tough to beat at home, and Russell Wilson is cooking. Rich says, are you guys high on Miles Sanders rest of the year? I'll speak for Landon when I say, or I'll speak for both of us. Yes, we are. I think your time to acquire him low was last week, and after his performance, 20 carries for, I think it was like 85 yards and a touchdown. I think Miles Sanders is starting to trend.
100%. Let's get it, boy.
David Wilson, what's going on, my brother? He's subscribing for sure. Appreciate you. If you guys are new to the stream and you want to get in here for a sub, that would really, really help us out. Allen Robinson or Kenny Golladay? I am going Allen Robinson. Again, if I can help it, I am leaving Kenny Golladay on my bench unless I don't have any other options.
Love it. Love it. Keep it up.
Okay, Lando, full PPR, David Montgomery or Kenny G?
Oh, that's tough. Montgomery for the floor, Kenny G for the upside.
I would go David Montgomery.
Okay.
Standard league. Now, I'm going to assume this is John Brown or Darrell Henderson because there is also Marquise Brown, and we know A.J. Brown is not playing. So if it's A.J. Brown, you go Darrell Henderson. If it's John Brown, I still think you go John Brown over Darrell Henderson, and Marquise Brown, I still think you go over Henderson. So I'm taking all Browns over Darrell Henderson.
Love it.
I subscribe because Scotty is a hottie.
I don't blame you, Misha. Thanks for the love, man.
Scotty's just reporting that Julio Jones is officially out, so adjust your rosters accordingly. Big boost to Russell Gage there if you are in that camp.
And Hayden Hurst.
Andrews or Jonnu? That is Andrews for me.
Yep,
that
same.
Andrews. Keep others from using them against you. Absolutely, I agree. Amanda comes back. I love the repeat question. 1.5 PPR, Darrell Henderson or Antonio Gibson. Oh, baby. Oh, let's explore this one, Lando. This is kind of gross. What are you feeling here?
Oh man, talk me through it, Mac. Talk me through it. What are you?
Lando. Okay, well, I think they're close. Darrell Henderson playing the Buffalo Bills. We know Cam Akers is out this week, so it's going to be him and Malcolm Brown. I think, again, there's going to be more Malcolm Brown than we hope. And it seems that when last week, Malcolm Brown, they get to the red zone and he's the featured back. It sucks. It'd be great to see Darrell Henderson do something finally, like someone out of this trio emerge and be the guy. But we've yet to see that. Antonio Gibson playing Cleveland is a better matchup, and we have not seen the Antonio Gibson breakout yet. We've been on the hype train. Everyone's been riding high. A little bit disappointed. You could probably still pick Antonio Gibson up on the cheap. But I'm going to put some faith into Antonio Gibson to finally have himself a game.
I agree. I would go Gibson for sure.
I like it. Look at that, Lando. There we go. Yes, it's Misha.
Stafford or Watson? I'm going Watson here. Is that crazy?
No, I don't think it's crazy. What I do think will probably happen is you're going to be relying on Deshaun Watson for some garbage time, just like he did in week 1. So if you can stomach that, go with Deshaun. But the Pittsburgh Steelers defense are pressuring the quarterback at a crazy rate. They are getting pressure on the quarterback, collapsing the pocket 44% of the time, which is pretty much half of their rushes. So I think Deshaun's going to have to use his legs, and he's going to have to scramble. And I think I might go Stafford, man. Soft matchup against the Cardinals. Should be a decent amount of points. And if Kenny G is anything to what we think he can be in his return, then yeah, Matt Stafford, I think, is the play for me.
You're going Stafford. Yeah. All right.
Russell Gage or Michael Gallup in a standard league. I'm going to go Russell Gage.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, with this news coming out, I don't blame you at all. The target distribution is tough in Dallas, so Gage should get more targets than Gallup. Gallup's still getting a ton of air yards, but it's just they haven't connected yet. I'm big on the Michael Gallup bounce back week, but I do believe Gage is going to be the safer play in a standard league.
Interesting. I mean, Gallup is definitely the least targeted of the 3 wide receivers. Amari Cooper leading that trio. I'm going to look for a big Russell Gage week with no Julio on the field. So that's why I'm doing it.
Love it. We're having lots of Gage questions right now, so I don't blame you guys. Like, this is going to be it's a tough one here. And Edward, I want to shout out Edward for coming by off Sleeper. I know Scott's blitzing Sleeper right now. Sorry it took so long to get to your question, but thanks for coming by. Hit subscribe if you can. We're here every single week trying to grind and help you make the best roster decisions you can.
So don't never apologize for asking twice. He posted in the Sleeper app. Let me hear. Did you say Brown or Henderson? So we, if you missed it, you can scroll back. But we said we don't know which Brown it was. Was it John Brown? Was it Marquise Brown? And hopefully it's not AJ Brown because he's not playing. But we said all 3 Browns over Darrell Henderson. So that's hopefully that's helpful. But that's where we're at.
All right, Gage or Deshaun Jackson in the standard league. I'm gonna go Gage there over Deshaun Jackson.
I agree. He meant Malcolm Brown. So,
yeah.
Well, there's another Brown. I would go Malcolm Brown. Yeah, over Darrell Henderson. Again, touchdown upside.
Malcolm Brown was a little banged up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is he should be fine?
Yep.
All right.
We got you, Edward. Thanks for coming by. So, Russell Gage or Josh Kelly at the flex. Woo.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because Josh Kelly is trending up. That guy.
No, yeah, he is for sure. I still go Russell Gage.
Okay. All right. I like it. AF24, thanks for coming by, man. Subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate you.
Dylan says, love the insight. Thanks, guys. Definitely going to sub. Appreciate you, Dylan. Thank you so much for helping us out. He wants to know J.K. Dobbins or Jeff Wilson in a half PPR.
Oh, man. So I think Jeff Wilson will get a lot of work, but I would still go J.K. Dobbins here. I think J.K. Dobbins is trending in the right direction. He should get more work every single week. Go Dobbins. He's the floor play and ceiling play, in my opinion.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins for me as well. Dude, your camera's just jumping all over the place today. It's the connection through Skype is just awful, horrendous. I'm resizing you constantly.
It's awful. Yeah. I'm seeing that.
It's just painful. I'm sorry for you guys having to watch, but I'm doing my best here.
Yeah.
Are there any start sits that you're having trouble navigating, Lando? Maybe we can help you out.
Oh man. Geez, I haven't even considered looking yet. It's only 11:45. We are flying, and we still have lots of time left, so we're good here now. Let me check my rosters. I've got Gage in a couple spots.
While you're looking, Splash Triplet, what do you guys think about Mixon?
Oh, I think Mixon's a great buy low. He's a guy that I think will continue to get work. I just want him to see more of these passing down works. Like Gio Bernard was
annoyingly involved
way too much for my liking.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mixon is a good buy low. I also think AJ Green is a good buy low. That volume is fantastic to see, and they just haven't connected. I don't know if it's a chemistry issue. I don't know if it's a limited training camp issue where him and AJ Green and Joe Mixon haven't been able to get on the same page with Joe Burrow. But let's hope that Cincy can really pull this one out. And if they do beat the Eagles, like I think they can. Should be a good game for everyone involved. Who are some guys we're trying to stay away from this week? I've already been vocal. I'm trying as much as I can to stay away from Kenny G. That is a guy that I am kind of off of, fading this week. Is there anyone in particular that you are fading, Landon?
Will Fuller.
Yes.
I'm starting Mike Davis over Will Fuller this week.
So for those of you that are new to the show, Landon is big on Mike Davis this week. I am not. I am not in the camp of spending the money on Mike Davis. I did not put any bids in for him. I don't think he's an overly talented back, and the window on him is 3 to 5 weeks. Christian McCaffrey was placed on temporary IR. That puts him out for at least 3 weeks. but we could certainly see that be extended to 5 or 6. So I didn't want to spend the money on Mike Davis because of what it might have took to get somebody for 3 to 5 weeks, but Landon is big on him. So, take that as you will.
Yep. I do think Curtis Samuel is a good pickup in a lot of leagues. If he's available on your waiver wire, people are down on Curtis Samuel. I think there's a chance that he gets a lot of actually rushing work. I said early in the offseason that maybe at the time Mike Davis wasn't even signed yet, but McCaffrey, like Reggie Bonifant was a pickup for a handcuff for McCaffrey. But I figured that Curtis Samuel was actually the handcuff there in Carolina. So it's going to be, we'll see what happens. I think based on what we saw last week, Mike Davis got a lot of work. I think he still gets a lot of work, and that's why I put all those bids in on him.
Yeah, I'm also fading in Brandon Cooks a little bit this week. That Steelers D is just so solid, and it's Brandon Cooks, man. He can disappear at any moment. So I'm going to fade him. I know we've got a couple questions about him already.
Yeah.
Yo, what up, Travi? Big Travi coming in from the Fantasy Whisperers, our friends over there.
Yo,
they're also live.
They're live.
Yeah, they're
right
also
now
live too.
well.
So if you guys are in this chat and you want to go check out the Fantasy Whisperers, Travi and Johnny do a really good show, and our friend Summy's also over there as well. I don't know if he's on the live stream, but Summy is the man. So what up, Travi? Hope you guys are doing well, and they just hit 1,000 subscribers. So shouts out to you guys. Congrats. That's a big accomplishment. We're trying to follow in your footsteps here. Alberto P, welcome to the stream. Russell Gage or John Brown in a full PPR? That is a tough one.
That is a really tough one. It's been the Josh Allen show from here on. And John Brown is a great target, but he's still the number 2 to Stephon Diggs. I have high hopes for Russell Gage, but I think I might still go with John Brown. Is that the wrong way to go?
No, that's
Mac?
where also I am going. The Buffalo Bills, 20% of their plays coming out of 10 personnel, which means they are running 4 wide receiver sets 20% of the time. So they are trying to get the ball to Diggs and Beasley and John Brown, and John Brown's proved so far through 2 weeks that he's still that deep threat. He's still the burner that can, take the top off a defense and make big plays. So I would go John Brown. As attractive as Russell Gage is, I'm going to go with John Brown.
Travi, I know he has all the answers himself, but he knows better than to ask his co-host John a start-sit question. He comes to us.
Yes.
He knows. Travi's a sharp fantasy analyst. I suggest you guys follow him on Twitter if you haven't already. He's 100%. These guys are great, but he just needs some confirmation from us.
Oh, so he said that Summy and Johnny taking it today. Yeah, that's fantastic. Glad you can come hang with us, brother. Adams and MT out. Would we go Gage or MVS? I'm gonna go Russell Gage.
Yeah, so would I.
I mean, the debate between
MVS is a big play guy, man. For all we know, MVS could have 2 long touchdowns in that game. I just don't. The targets aren't going to be there. I like Lazard this week with Devontae Adams out. I don't know. What do you think? You're the Packers guy. You're a hometown Packers guy.
Well, and so is Travi, right? He's a Packers fan as well, yeah. And I think when it comes down to it, people aren't giving Allen Lazard enough credit, because I do think between the two of them, he's the X receiver. He's the most closest guy, archetype wise, skill set wise, to fill in for Devontae Adams. MVS is just that he's similar to John Brown. He's that downfield guy. He can make the big play, but without it, he's just not a volume possession receiver. So I would go Allen Lazard. I also like him for the red zone opportunities. So that's kind of where I'm sticking.
Totally. David got Davis for free off waivers.
Wow.
Off the waiver wire, man.
Yeah, I would pick up Mike Davis if it was going to be $10, $15, but people are spending $50. To me, that was crazy. So I went the Devonta Freeman route just for the longevity of that player.
And so Devonta Freeman is active today, Mac. So we weren't necessarily sure, but are you willing to start Devonta Freeman week 1? I mean,
No.
we still are expecting Dion Lewis to be involved somewhat in that he knows the playbook, he knows the offense.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? For him to get acclimated to that playbook in a couple days is not going to happen. He will be used because, after the first 20 plays of scripted stuff are out the window, it's just going to be let's play football. So Devonta Freeman will be out there. They signed him. They're going to use him, but it will be a committee approach between him, Gallman, and Dion Lewis. So,
yeah. So great question from Amanda. Amanda's back. Thank you for coming by, Amanda. If you haven't subbed, do that right now. And we have Devonta Freeman or Gibson, Antonio Gibson. So is this hard for you, or are you just going Gibson?
I'm going Gibson. Yeah. And here's the thing. With Antonio Gibson and Devonta Freeman, I mean, if Devonta Freeman does pop, then that's great. You have another startable asset that you can entertain for future weeks. But don't in a guy that you haven't seen play football in a while. I know he's got the name value. I know he's got the talent. I'm just not willing to put that out in a starting position. I'd rather him prove me wrong on my bench than to have to pay for it in my starting roster. So yeah, Antonio Gibson.
Mr. Schmidtastic has a tough question. Ooh. Singletary or Joshua Kelly for the flex?
Singletary. With Moss out, Singletary is so attractive. Yeah. The workload, man, gonna be what we thought we would see out of him.
In a really good offense. This is the guy we thought before the draft happened. He was a buy candidate. He was a keeper option. He's the guy that had a ton of upside based on his efficiency last year. But Zach Moss was going to be the goal line back, and we've seen that for over the first 2 weeks. But now if it's just Singletary, let him eat. He's going to get fed. It's going to be awesome. We know that Josh Allen's still going to probably vulture some goal line work, but we know that Singletary can get out from 20 yards as well.
Prada, thank you for specifying which Brown. It's a John Brown question. So Darius Slayton or John Brown? I'm going Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I'm not this week. I'm playing Giants because of the banged up San Francisco defense, and I would go Slayton there as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the status is on Richard Sherman, but yeah, that's one less corner coverage for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Love that. Richie, Kenny Golladay or Russell Gage. So I think this is where maybe it goes too far with Kenny Golladay. I said, I'm trying to sit down Kenny G in as many spots, but if I'm, going between Kenny G and Russell Gage, I'm going to go Kenny Golladay.
I'm going to go Kenny Golladay as well. It's Arizona's defense, although it's been pretty solid, you still got to hope for a shootout there versus Detroit. So, yeah, you go Kenny Golladay. Play your stud in that matchup.
Zach might win question of the day here. Devonta Freeman or 8-snap special Nyheim Hines. So we saw Nyheim Hines just torch the world week 1, and everyone ran to the waiver wire and acquired him in Dynasty. And then last week he was Casper the Ghost. So this is the disgusting. But I'm gonna throw this one to you because I read the question.
Oh man, you're killing me here. I mean, we thought that Nyheim Hines is going to be an every week flex play.
Yeah.
Just because of 1 week and not working out, I still think that you could start Nyheim Hines this week.
I agree.
Against the Jets, it should be fine. You got to just kind of close. Don't watch the game. Just go with it and
don't do it.
And just start Nyheim Hines. Don't watch the New York Giants game either, because if you do and if you want Devonta Freeman to be the real deal, he's probably not going to look super great.
No, and I think I think by the end of the season we'll talk about Devonta Freeman a little bit different than we are now. But just like you brought up, Landon, like him not really being a part of this offense for too long, coming in to fill a void, it's going to be a committee approach the first week. And yeah I'm going to go with Nyheim Hines. I do have faith that he will be a part of this Colts backfield, even with Jonathan Taylor, taking over. He should be used. So I'm going to go Nyheim Hines. Great question, though. Amazing question.
Yeah. So if Freeman goes off big this week, this is a great. I think that's a very good sell high for Devonta
Hmm.
Freeman. Honestly, are you on the same page with me there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like if he goes
You
for
should be
like 90 and a touchdown.
you should be trying to sell if guys have big weeks. James Robinson is top of my list. I don't think that, especially in Dynasty, sell James Robinson for everything you can. But I'd be trying to sell James Robinson, Myles Gaskin, and Devonta Freeman if he pops, because why not?
Or Mike Davis if he pops.
Well, that's a tougher sell just because of the limited window. But yeah, people might be silly enough to buy Mike Davis for a couple weeks. Edward back, John Brown, Terry McLaurin, Darius Slayton. Terry McLaurin, brother. Top 15 receiver for me this week.
Yeah, go Scary Terry. I like it.
Can we rank these four? Russell Gage, T.Y. Hilton, Julian Edelman, Keenan Allen. Absolutely.
Of course.
I think top of this list for me is T.Y. Hilton in a soft matchup.
No, I'm top of my list is Keenan Allen in an also fairly soft matchup.
So
and how
do we have Hilton, Keenan top two?
I'm not bought into T.Y. Hilton yet, Mac. He hasn't looked good. I know he dropped a touchdown, and if that was different, maybe I would be more in on T.Y. Hilton. I agree it's close between him and Edelman for me. I would probably rank it Keenan, Edelman, T.Y., Russell. That's how I would rank them.
Russell
Gage
last.
I'm just not huge on Hilton, but I get you are. So if for you T.Y. is top of the list, then I mean it's easier for this question. But for me, he's just not there yet.
I go Hilton, Allen. Who are the other two? Sorry, Hilton, Allen, Edelman, and then Russell Gage. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, if you need the big play though, you probably throw Russell Gage in there with your favorite of the three. If you need a boom game.
Yeah, I mean, like I am starting Russell Gage in matchups, man. Like I'm hoping he has a big game, but
really tough to get away from Hilton and Allen as a duo.
Yeah, totally. I know.
Have to start 3, sit 1. Okay, so out of these 3, I would sit Russell Gage.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Dion or Devonta Freeman today. Also have Gore, but the Jets. Ew, gross. Adam Gase. We
I know. I feel that, Lucas. Lucas.
I mean, if the Giants are to get to the goal line, who gets the work? Got to be Devonta Freeman, right?
Probably Freeman. I think Dion gets more like receptions.
I mean, but Frank Gore, man. Frank Gore. No, I'm gonna go Devonta Freeman. We gotta go with the touchdown upside. So let's go there. Deshaun Jackson or John Brown. I would go John Brown.
Yeah, same. I would go John Brown. I'm not in on Deshaun. I have never been on Deshaun.
David Wilson says, "What do you guys do? Are you sports writers? I could never know all of this off the top of my head. I'm so impressed." I think we just spend way too much time analyzing fantasy football.
We have problems. Our girlfriends and wives hate our guys.
They're the real MVPs allowing us to do this. No, so I'm a high school teacher, and Landon is kind of between jobs right now, but he is getting into the golf fitting world at a really reputable tour experience golf in Toronto. So he's in the golf industry, and I'm a teacher.
Here. Oh, there we go.
What happened?
Weird. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. Connection issues, I guess.
Yeah. I never watched the games of Dallas. Yeah, neither do I, unless they're playing the Packers, and that's been a nice little track record for us.
Yeah.
Thanks for the debate. Definitely hoping for high trade potential. Yeah, on those 3 running backs, absolutely. Edward says, last one for me. Thank you. No, thank you for the questions. That's what helped this stream keep moving. So how do you feel about Godwin being back this week? I'll let you take this one, Lando. I'll pop in. I've been.
No. You're the Godwin guy.
I just don't know if people want to hear me talk this long. It's.
Okay, yeah. I'm big on Godwin this week. I think I'm big on him for the rest of the season. We know Tom Brady likes his slot receivers. I'm not concerned about his injury. When he was out, Mike Evans still didn't get a ton of the volume. He got that one reception in the end zone. You got it if you're not into it because of the lack of kind of efficiency that Tom Brady has shown. But Godwin, rest of season, I think is a really good play. He's a top 10 option, no question in my mind, Edward. So thanks for coming by. Thanks for the question. Yeah, go with Chris Godwin. And if you don't feel like it, if you're out on him, you can sell him for a lot. I would be buying Godwin.
The reason why I'm so big on Chris Godwin, one, last year we saw the breakout. Two, we've got a guy at quarterback that favors the slot position, and had he not entered concussion protocol late last week, he would have played last week. So the injury is not anything that I'm concerned about. The timing of it was just really unfortunate. So yeah, Chris Godwin, full steam ahead. Don't think twice about it.
Yeah, totally.
2 to play, half PPR, Golladay, Tyler Boyd, Mike Davis, Michael Gallup. Woo! This is testing my Kenny G start sit.
This, yeah, totally, 100% is. Now, but you're gonna sit down Mike Davis, even with all these guys in a half point league, right? Yeah.
I think for me, I would go Golladay Boyd, but Gallup Boyd is also a combo. But I would sit down Mike Davis. I don't know if you're probably different than me, Landon.
No, it's gonna be Golladay and Boyd for me. You know what? Oh geez, because I do really like Gallup this week, but it just seems I might go actually with Golladay Gallup.
Okay.
Boyd, yeah, that's what I would do.
I said we just missed one here. Oh, Chris says, did I miss the debate on starting Woods or Edelman? We did talk about that one. I mean, they both have very similar roles, right? So I mean, I would tend to go Woods for the higher ceiling of the two.
Yeah, I would go Woods as well. He's a couple spots higher for us. It's not by a ton, but even in a tough matchup against Buffalo, I still he seems just to has so much rapport with Jared Goff. Previous years, we've seen that with Cooper Kupp, but every time Robert Woods touches the ball, he looks elusive. He looks excellent. Julian Edelman, although he was great, I don't know if I'm really ready to buy that super high.
No, and I think this week Edelman. There might be a overreaction to his big game last week. You know, a high yardage game. I think there could be an overreaction. So yeah, I'm not. Look, Julian Edelman's a great play. I would just rather Robert Woods.
I could see best case for Julian Edelman going for like 65 and 1, where Robert Woods could get 120 yards. And if he gets in the end zone, that's great. He's not the end zone guy. He's not the touchdown scorer, but he's a high yardage guy typically.
Sticking with Julian Edelman here in a full PPR, OBJ or Julian Edelman?
Oh, man. I like OBJ.
I do as well.
I think after that big game last week, I think Julian Edelman 100% has a safer floor. We've seen Odell disappear, not necessarily because of his play, but because of Baker Mayfield. And the Washington football team has a really good defensive line. They're going to get pressure on Baker, and that would be tough for Odell to really get that. So I think Edelman has a safer floor. I still love the talent of Odell Beckham, but Julian Edelman, for if you're favored in the matchup, if you need a lot of points, go with Odell.
I would go Odell, no matter what.
Okay, sounds good.
Before we take more questions, for Landon and I and Scott behind the camera, we really appreciate you guys being here. We are trying to grow this community that we've been building for the last 2 years, stronger and stronger, and our new goal is 350 subscribers on YouTube. If you guys that are watching that are new to the stream, you just found us today, you might like Landon and I. You might want to come back. Leaving a comment, leaving a like, or even better, hitting that subscribe button would really, really help us out. So, as many likes that we can get on this video, as many comments, really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. You can also get us on Instagram and Twitter at @snap_fantasy. Jumping back in, what are our thoughts on Kenyon Drake for the rest of the season? Now, I have been very vocal to say that I don't believe in Kenyon Drake preseason through the first 2 weeks. Not owning Kenyon Drake anywhere. Quite happy, quite pleased. I know you're a big Chase Edmonds believer, Landon. What do you think? Given 2 weeks of production, what do you think for Kenyon Drake rest of season?
I'm going to play him like crazy this week. I think it's a really great matchup, and if his rest of season production, if he's healthy, he's going to be a good play. Honestly, if he's healthy, he's going to be a top 15 running back in the league, which you're not going to be over the moon with, but it's going to be good for your fantasy teams. At this point, that's what you need. With everyone going down, question marks at the position, he could slip into the top 12, no question, because of the offense being so good and Kyler being amazing. But this week I'm playing him like crazy. Rest of season, yeah, he's good. But if he goes off big this week, I think you sell him for a lot. If you can get a lot for him, if you can get a Derrick Henry, you pair two guys like a Russell Gage and Kenyon Drake for Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
hey,
a little package deal.
Get a package deal for an upgrade, or a Zeke if he underperforms this week or something like that. That's kind of my strategy. Or on a guy that I wasn't huge on.
Or maybe a guy you wavered like Myles Gaskin or
sure.
Devonta Freeman if he has a good game. Package those two to get one. Yeah. I'm not big on Kenyon Drake. I do think that Chase Edmonds is special, and I think over time we'll start to see that. That's just how I roll. But the Arizona Cardinals also, they throw the ball a lot. They line up in 3 and 4 wide receiver sets a ton. So they are still trying to win through the air, not so much on the ground. So we'll see how it plays out. Dylan Dumas, welcome into the stream. Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones? I am praying. I'm going to go Daniel Jones over Kirk Cousins. Kirk has not impressed me. They have a really tough matchup against the Tennessee Titans, so I'm going the Daniel Jones side.
Yeah, I'm not starting Kirk ever.
And if you guys caught Landon's DFS video, I'm also playing Daniel Jones in DFS, but we're heavy on the Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton stack this week. There's value there if you guys play DFS, and we're kind of hoping for the big game of the Giants. I actually took the Giants to win this game in my Pick'em League as well as a couple bets.
I think Daniel Jones has a big game today. And if you want to be super spicy about it, Evan Ingram. But Evan Ingram hasn't looked good. But, sheesh. Maybe that's too spicy for my blood.
Yeah. Chris, thank you. Appreciate the question. Thank you so much for coming by. Hopefully you come by again.
Dylan, yeah.
J Flip 021, pick 2.5 PPR, AJ Green, Antonio Gibson, or Russell Gage. I'm going to go AJ Green, Russell Gage here. I'm going to sit down Antonio Gibson.
Oh, interesting. I mean, yeah, I'd probably do the same. That's a good call.
Target volume for AJ Green has been there. 13 targets last week, only 3 receptions. Russell Gage, with Julio out, projects to be really, really heavily involved this week. So I'm going to go with those two, and I'm just going to sit down Gibson until I see it. Unless I really, really have to play him, I'm gonna sit him down.
Yep, sounds good. What do you think about KJ Hamler this game? Is he a waiver wire pickup? You're not starting him, Mac, but he needs to be rostered?
Yeah, well, so I love KJ Hamler at Penn State. He's a burner. He can take the top off the defense, stretch the field. But I think him being on the field really just helps Noah Fant and Jerry Jeudy work the intermediate, the underneath routes. So I think KJ Hamler is a really, really big shot in the dark. I'm not willing to play him at all anywhere. 16 teams, like nothing.
Yeah, no. I think he should be rostered.
Yes.
So Cam Newton or Josh Allen in a PPR. I am going Josh Allen over Cam this week.
Yeah. I think we've been treated to too many Cam rushing touchdowns. 2 per week. He's on pace for 32 rushing touchdowns. I think that ends. I think we're seeing a little bit of inflated production from Cam, and I'm going to go with the other side. Zach Foster back with another question. He says, am I a wild man for considering Justin Herbert over Jared Goff? They're so close in the rankings. Seems like a fun zig when others zag scenario, but I have Kupp. Opponent has Woods. I wouldn't read too much into what you have and what the opponent has. We do know that stacking intentionally quarterback and wide receiver for fantasy isn't always the most advantageous play. We did a study actually in the offseason about that. For DFS, it's a definite good play because if you're not first, you're last type mentality. But I like Jared Goff. I think Buffalo seems to be on paper a really bad matchup. I think Jared Goff is talented enough. I think he's getting enough protection. The ball's getting out of his hand a little bit quicker this year. I'm going to go Jared Goff over Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I loved what I saw from Herbert last week, but it's probably Goff in that matchup.
Edward says, glad I found you guys subbed and I'll be coming back. Edward, we're glad that we found you, brother. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. Hopefully you can come back future weeks. We are going to be right here waiting for you. Tyler, yet another tough quarterback matchup decision. Matt Ryan versus Chicago or Deshaun Watson versus Pittsburgh. I think it's Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I think it's Matt Ryan.
With such enthusiasm, Lando.
I don't love it. Yeah, it's probably Matt Ryan in that matchup. You got to think that even with now Atlanta's defense banged up, they're just going to throw some more. Losing Julio Jones isn't the end of the world. They've got very good replacements. Julio didn't catch touchdowns anyway, so you're fine. The Deshaun matchup against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense is probably the best in the league right now. Deshaun could struggle. His offensive line is terrible. He could be running for his life. That's kind of what we saw even against Kansas City's defense. So, I think a lot of these Houston pieces are a sit unless you have really bad options. But, that's what I would go Matt Ryan as well.
Sticking with Watson or Breeze this week?
Oh, man. I'm
going to go with the Deshaun Watson side here. I think Drew Brees has a touch of a down game. Green Bay secondary is underrated. They were a top 15 defense last year. Definitely trending to be a better team on that side of the ball. Without Michael Thomas, he's going to struggle a bit, and it's going to have to be, in my opinion, a Jared Cook, Alvin Kamara game if Drew Brees is going to be effective. So I am going to roll with Deshaun.
I like it.
Okay. Look at that. Andreas, is Golladay active today? Yes. No.
Golladay is active.
Yes.
Yeah.
As you can see on the screen here, we have in, doubtful, and out. The only one that you guys need to take into account is that Julio Jones, since the time that we went live, has been declared out. So that's why we are seeing such a boost to the Russell Gage questions, as well as our confidence in him. But the remainder of the names, Devontae Adams, Sammy Watkins, Phillip Lindsay, Ruggs, Crowder, are all still in question. And Kenny Golladay, Darren Waller, Jared Jeudy have all been cleared to play this week. As we said at the beginning of the stream, if some of you are new, Devontae Adams, if you have like a Marquez Valdes-Scantling or an Alan Lazard, if you have one of those pieces from the Baltimore Kansas City game, like a Tyreek Hill or a Travis Kelce or a Marquise Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, if you can afford to flex one of those players over Devontae Adams, then I would wait it out, but make sure it's in your flex position. But Devontae Adams will be a game time decision tonight for Sunday Night Football. And if I have to make the decision right now, I'm pivoting off of Devontae Adams.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Blue Crew Chep, PPR, QB. Watson, Breeze. Oh, did we do that one? Watson, Breeze, Herbert? No. But I'm going...
Not.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we did do that one. I just didn't put Herbert in there because, Watson. Hey, boys. Been hectic. Easy. What's up, brother? Thanks for the advice. You guys are crushing the content. We are trying. We're trying to get ourselves out there, trying to meet more of you. And I think Sundays are a good day to do it. So appreciate you being here first and foremost. You're always the first guy in the stream, and we get to your questions. we will give a little vote of luck to Eric's daughter first basketball camp. Basketball, great game, man. Great team game. Beautiful game when played well. Tyler's back with a wide receiver question. Deontay Johnson in the flex or Marvin Jones? It's a full PPR. You got to stay with the hot hand of Deontay Johnson, in my opinion.
That guy's a stud, man. He might be the number one in that offense.
He is a guy that I am aggressively trying to buy in all of my leagues, and it's getting harder and harder to do so because more people in our leagues are starting to tune into these streams. So I'm sort of airing my dirty laundry and my intentions, but I'm trying so hard to get Deontay Johnson. I think he's really special. Reminds me of how Antonio Brown was used in this offense. So Deontay Johnson, man, full stream ahead. Taylor says Lazard or CeeDee Lamb. Opponent has Amari Cooper. Again, I'll let you answer this question, but I don't think it really matters what your opponent has. I think sometimes we can get too cute and too caught up in, well, if they have Tyler Lockett, should I start? Maybe that's a bad example because Russell Wilson's an auto start right now. But, if they have Tyler Lockett, should I play Russell Wilson over Aaron Rodgers this week to take points away from? And the answer is no. Don't worry about what your opponent has. Who would you go there, Lazard or Lamb?
Lamb. You go with Lamb.
Yeah, I would as well. Number 2 in this offense behind Amari Cooper. I think Dallas will be forced to throw a lot. They do run 84% of their plays out of 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver set. So yeah, big vote of confidence to CeeDee Lamb.
We have a question here: Fant or Jonnu Smith? I think this is really tough. Fant in Dynasty is a top 5 guy. I think he is so good, so talented. But I'm still gonna go Jonnu Smith.
I mean, both of these guys have seen a boost in their usage since their wide receiver ones went down, Cortland Sutton, AJ Brown. But Jonnu Smith is the guy that pushes the needle for me.
Yeah, with Drew Lock being out, I know Tannehill gives us some safety there. We know what he's targeted with Jonnu Smith. Fant is just a bit of a question mark. We hope that offense doesn't struggle, but it very well could. So,
dude, is Misha really in here with kicker questions?
Misha's the best. He pays attention to fantasy about 3 times a year, and I'm glad it's today.
We're not going to answer a kicker question. That's we're not setting that precedent.
No, we have to answer every single question, man.
No,
every single one.
The answer is it doesn't matter. Flip a coin. Kickers are random.
Play a kicker in a dome. Play a kicker.
There you go. Who's your favorite tight end in DFS, Landon? You are the resident DFS expert.
I Drew Sample and Logan Thomas this week.
Yeah, Landon likes to go low on the tight end position, and I can't blame him.
Week 1, I went Dallas Goedert.
Yes, that was a big hit. I went Jared Goff, Tyler Higbee stack last week in my lineup, as you guys probably saw in the video, and 3 touchdowns was spicy. Basim, so hopefully I said that right. AJ Green, Cooper Kupp, Julian Edelman, DJ Moore, John Brown, rate 1 to 5 in a full PPR. Wow, what a list. For me in a full PPR, it's going to be DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp, Julian Edelman, AJ Green, John Brown.
You got it. Same thing, my friend.
There we go. On the same page. Love it. Lucas, welcome into the stream. Appreciate you. Am I crazy to play Tannehill over Breeze at my QB2? No, absolutely not. I think Ryan Tannehill has a day. And Drew Brees, like we've talked about, missing Michael Thomas. I think Green Bay is an underrated secondary, pretty solid defense. It's going to have to be a Jared Cook, Alvin Kamara day for them to be in this game. So I'm going to look to pivot off of Breeze and go with Tannehill.
The only thing I would say, it makes it a little bit closer if it's a 6 point per touchdown league.
Good point.
Where we could see Drew Brees score, pass for 2 or 3, where Tannehill, we could see obviously Derrick Henry, King Henry, Mac's new favorite player in football, run a couple in.
Oh, man. So,
hey, Mac, who is the best running back in the NFL?
Oh, it's got to be Derrick Henry, right?
Derrick Henry, yeah, King Henry, let's go, Scott. I hope you're here to hear that, my friend.
Man. Sure, any of you
Mac,
longtime listeners will know that my outlook on Derrick Henry has been very bleak, and even 2 years ago I was hard. Don't draft Derrick Henry. He will bust. He will bust. And I was so right, but the tune has changed on Derrick Henry. We're seeing him get week 1 31 carries, and then 25 carries last week. Like, yeah, he's only amassed 200 yards on 56 carries. It's not efficient, but that's not what Derrick Henry is. So I traded for Derrick Henry. I traded away Devontae Adams and Kareem Hunt off a big week for Derrick Henry and DJ Moore, which I thought was a smash play. So I have my first share of Derrick Henry, and I don't feel great about it, but I am happy to.
Oh, you do feel great about it. You do. You do.
I'm trying to hold it in, man.
I'm getting notifications. You guys are subscribing, and we thank you so much. We've got 26 people watching right now. Thank you so much. We're trying to get that 350 subscriptions. We will answer every single question you have. If I got you on Twitter, if you're coming off a sleeper, whatever it is, please subscribe. We do this every week. And shout out to you guys. We're growing our community. We're trying to get you the best informed we possibly can. And we're here to grind, man. It's 12:23. In previous years, we were just starting and we had no questions. I love the interaction. You guys are just, I couldn't thank you enough.
Mm-hmm. Alex says, do you guys not like Hunter Henry? No, we definitely do like Hunter Henry. With the changeover at quarterback, it's tough because quarterbacks have different preferences in how they target.
He looked for Henry, man. He did.
Yeah.
He got looks.
Yeah, so I think, we've got
some price, man.
We've got Anthony Lynn coming out and saying that there was that issue with Tyrod Taylor having his lung punctured last week, trying to get antibiotics, and that's a huge blow. What a boo-boo by the medical team. And Justin Herbert came out and almost won the game for them against the Chiefs. So it's conflicting because Anthony Lynn comes out after that game and says if Tyrod Taylor is healthy, that they're going to go with him. And I don't understand how the future of your team, your franchise quarterback that you drafted in the, what was he, sixth overall spot, like Justin Herbert's got to be the guy, especially on such a strong performance. Yeah. So we'll see what happens this week. I want to see the rapport between those players established a little bit more before I have true confidence in Hunter Henry. But I do, Hunter Henry's on a bunch of my lineups. I really, really do like him.
Yeah, for the record, man, I've got Henry in one lineup. I've got Logan Thomas in a bunch and Drew Sample. If I'm paying up for tight end, I'll go between Ertz and Henry, and that's based on ownership. I think not very many people are playing Ertz or Henry. So I'm willing to play them. I'm definitely willing to play them, but it's just based on price. I want to spend my money other places sometimes, and if I'm playing Henry, I got to pivot down to like a Singletary at running back, maybe even a McKinnon or a Wilson at running back, a Mike Davis. That's kind of how I construct my lineups. Right. And this week I want to pay up at running back. I want to play Derrick Henry as much as I can. Right. I want to play Austin Eckler as much as I can. So I want to pay down for tight end. So thanks for the question, though.
Yeah, and shout out to a couple new subs, Kevin Mason, who just got in the stream. We'll get to your question in a moment there, Kevin, but thanks so much for the sub. Appreciate that. We did the Noah Fant, Jonnu Smith, Russell.
Tristan asked. Yeah, you're at it.
Yeah, Russell Gage or DJ Moore. If you didn't already miss it, no, we're right here. So I would go DJ Moore. Better talent. Bounce back game. DJ Moore finally gets it going, I think.
Yeah, I think DJ Moore is a fringe wide receiver one for sure. Russell Gage definitely gets a boost. He seems like a very solid wide receiver 2 right now. Yep. And if he gets in the end zone, you're laughing, right? And last week I was sweating the Russell Gage start. I had to start him. I wanted to sit down Devontae Parker because he was banged up, and finally it came in the end zone, and it was Russell Gage made a really nice catch in the end zone.
Right.
This week we should see more targets from Russell, but he's still not at the DJ Moore level. DJ Moore is one of the best wide receivers in the league.
I agree.
Thanks, Tristan.
Dylan Fisher, last one for him. he can start two of the following: Corey Davis, Deshaun Jackson, Marvin Jones, and MVS, but it is in a standard league. So I think I would lock in Corey Davis, but then you've got Djax, Marvin Jones, and MVS, who are all boom-bust plays. So who has the best chance of a big yardage game here?
I'm going Davis and Marvin Jones is what I'm going with.
I like it. Kevin, I am starting Wentz over Goff and Derek Carr today, thinking of popping Deshaun in to combo with him, but I do have Amari and Ridley at wide receiver. Is it worth it? The answer is no. I don't mind the Wentz start. Personally, I'm off of the Eagles this week. I do have confidence starting both the tight ends and Miles Sanders, but I'm kind of off Carson Wentz. But what Landon and I did over the offseason, we dove through all quarterbacks and wide receiver ones and found on a week-to-week basis, was it advantageous to stack those players together intentionally, or would you have been better to pivot to a similar option at wide receiver? And, almost every single time the floor, the guaranteed points that you would get was diminished, and those ceiling, opportunities didn't come as frequent as we would have hoped. So all in all, I would happily start Amari Cooper and Calvin Ridley, who Calvin Ridley's the number one wide receiver in fantasy right now. I would start those two guys over Deshaun, trying to get cute and stacking those quarterback and wide receiver together. So if you want to play Carson Wentz, do so, but don't intentionally try to stack for Deshaun.
Yep, I like it. Easy, I'm not picking up Manny Sanders right now. Not starting him, so he's not going to take up a spot on my bench.
Splash says, should I trade Allen and Kupp for Murray and Gallup? No, I would rather have the Josh Allen Cooper Kupp side.
Yeah, and I get it. But yeah, Josh Allen's a top end quarterback, just like Kyler Murray. You're selling low on Kupp and buying low on Gallup. Mm-hmm. I think Kupp still has more upside than Gallup. I do like buying Gallup, but I wouldn't want to pay a Kupp that's underperformed. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at there.
Mm-hmm. Another one, pick 3.5 PPR, James Conner, Cooper Kupp. I assume that's Keenan Allen, Julian Edelman, and Tyler Boyd. Ooh, what a list.
That's got to be a
good problems to have.
That's a good problem to have, man. James Conner for the floor because it's a running back and he's been healthy, so you just got to play him.
Right.
It's a good matchup as well.
Yeah.
And then where else do you go, Mac?
Connor Kupp is locked for me. Yeah.
And Keenan, I would go the top 3, man. I think that's kind of where you have it. That's kind of where I would go.
I think if you're going to pivot off of Keenan Allen, you go Julian Edelman instead of Tyler Boyd. But the top 3 in that list are probably pretty good. Zach says, thanks for the great responses. We appreciate you, Zach. Subscribed and we're coming back. One downside of the big guys, everyone knows it's a slim chance whether their questions will be answered or not. And, we understand that our list of questions here isn't as large as maybe Mike Wright has over at the Footballers or Tagliar has at Fantasy Pros. But, the really nice thing of having a smaller community is that we do get a chance to get to everybody's question. And Landon has made it a point of contention for him to pride himself on that and really try to get to everybody. So we appreciate your questions. This keeps our mouths moving. So we appreciate you guys being here and giving us your questions. And I actually went through last week's stream, went through every single piece of advice that we gave. And Landon was by himself. 73% success rate for Landon last week. So it's pretty solid. I didn't want to put it up on the screen here, but I didn't do week 1, but week 2 by yourself, Lando, 73%. So
thank you, man.
Thank you. We're doing some good things here.
Last week was a grind. Tommy, Higbee or Hurst?
Higbee.
Okay, Higbee. Alex, more DFS stuff. I love DFS. I am playing Trubisky in some lineups because no one wants to start Trubisky. He's a great opportunity to stack with Montgomery and Allen Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gives you ownership on the field if you go with Trubisky and that tri-stack. So, yeah, man, I don't mind that matchup whatsoever. Trubisky, we've seen him have 3 or 4 touchdown games.
Totally.
That's kind of the reason why I'm also playing Daniel Jones in that same
Right.
matchup or in a different matchup, just because people don't like those plays. Last week, the big quarterbacks popped, like Prescott and
Mm-hmm.
Kyler and Russell. Those guys popped, so people want to pay up now for quarterbacks. But I think this is the chance to go pay down for quarterbacks. So,
I totally agree.
Alex, if you ever want to catch me, get in my DMs and we could talk some DFS strategy, man.
Landon's put cash in his pockets 2 weeks in a row in the Millionaire Maker, and he's looking to go a third. I also have cashed on one lineup. We do a DFS video every single week. Landon does, so you guys can, if you're subscribed, maybe even consider clicking that bell so that you know when it goes live. But yeah, awesome question. I'm also in on playing Daniel Jones or Mitch Trubisky for the ownership advantage. In a GPP contest where you're playing against half to 750,000 entrants, you want to do something to separate yourself from the field. So taking that shot on a low-owned option like Trubisky or Goff or Daniel Jones is a nice way to go.
You got it.
Bob Ross. Bob, I love you, bro. The paintings you do, the attitude, positive vibes you give, man, you're such an inspiration. So nice for you to pop into our fantasy football stream. Adam Thielen, Russell Gage, or Joshua Kelly. We're going to assume this is a half PPR league by default, but it's Adam Thielen for me.
That's correct. He's a top 10 wide receiver this week for me.
Ooh, top 10. Whoa.
Top 10.
I'm going to say
top 10.
Top 15 for me, but yeah.
All right.
Tommy, thanks for the input. Anytime. Please come back. Love having you. Aiden Miller, Marquise Brown, or Robbie Anderson since Julio is out. Here we go. The Robbie Anderson, who we just did a video on yesterday, telling people to sell high on Robbie. I know you're playing in some spots, but are you going Robbie or Marquise Brown?
If I had Brown to play, I would play Brown.
So would I.
So I don't, so I'm going Marquise.
Marquise Brown. Love it. Leonard Fournette or Michael Gallup. Tough one. No, that is a tough one. So what we've said about Leonard Fournette so far is that when the Bucs get to the red zone and they have goal line looks, Leonard Fournette seems to be the guy that gets the opportunity. So for Leonard Fournette, it is, in my opinion, a touchdown dependency. He may have earned the job over Jones as of last week, but the starter was Ronald Jones. So we're going to have to continue to believe that it's still that way, a 1-2 punch. It's so tough. I'm going to go with Fournette.
And I'm sorry we're no help because I would go Gallup. I'm big on Gallup this week for a big bounce back. I'm playing him in a lot of DFS lineups. It's for me, I just don't really. I'm not confirmed on the usage for Fournette. If Fournette gets used like crazy, gets 20 carries, all systems go Fournette rest of season.
Sure.
He's going to be a super safe floor and has upside because of his offense. I still like Dallas is throwing the ball the most out of any team in the NFL right now. They play a Seattle defense that is susceptible to everything. It's going to be a shootout game. I think Gallup bounces back and will get some serious work. They're both ranked kind of as a fringe
RB2, wide receiver 2.
Exactly. So if you want to go with if it's a half-point league, go Gallup. If it's standard league, go Fournette in my mind. But just it's super close for me. So depends on which analyst you want to listen to right now.
There also is the narrative that the Dallas Cowboys fall behind once again and are forced to throw the ball heavily. And between Gallup and Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, the three of them are on the field 84% of their plays so far, 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets. So, I get it. I'm going to go Fournette, but I do understand the other side of it. It's a good set of guys to choose from. Darren Waller or Tyler Higbee. Waller is declared active this week. He was heavily utilized last week, so I love Tyler Higbee. I'm going to go Darren Waller. Stay with the hot hand.
Those are, they're both hot, man. They're both hot. Waller was a little bit banged up. You're right, he's active.
16 targets, though. 12 receptions, over 100 yards. Darren Waller was a machine last week.
Yeah, go Waller. I'm into it.
Static Pros, Josh Kelly or David Johnson.
This is tough.
It's a tough one. I'm going to go DJ, though.
I'm going Josh Kelly.
Why?
He got the high value looks. They should just tear up that defense.
Does it change your mind, though, with Duke Johnson inactive today?
No, Duke Johnson's been inactive last week as well. I have a feeling about Joshua Kelly this week. I think this is the best time to play him. Carolina's defense is so bad. I also like Eckler. I would play Joshua Kelly and Eckler in this matchup.
Whoa.
Pittsburgh's defense is the best in the league, and I'm not sold on David Johnson, and I'm gonna go Josh Kelly.
Interesting. I would not play them both. I would go David Johnson here.
Right.
Whether you like me or Landon, that's where you're gonna have to cut the tie. Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Joe Mixon. Clyde Edwards-Helaire for me. I go for the better offense in the potentially highest scoring game.
That's what you want. Clyde's going to get more targets week after week, man. Just keep that. I think he's a locked in top 10 running back.
Eagles or Bears defense for week 3. I am going, I'm going to go Bears defense.
Sure. Go Bears defense.
I don't love either, for the record.
Yeah.
I don't love either.
Yeah.
I would
Eagles
rather go on the
defense.
opposite side of the ball there and go with the Falcons, just because between Ryan and Trubisky is the more prone quarterback to turn the ball over. So I'm going to go take a shot on the Falcons this week. Alex says, do you guys like Cooper Kupp against the Bills, who play a lot of zone defense? Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods can both possess the ball heavily in this game, especially if the game script goes upside down for them. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Half PPR, 2 flex, Ingram, Henderson, Jonnu.
Half PPR.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so for me, it's going to be Mark Ingram and Jonnu Smith. A.J. Brown's still out. Jonnu Smith going to be heavily used, and I'm really, again, hoping that he gets those touches out of the backfield because they've lined him up there a couple times, and I'm really curious to see how that works out with his build being so similar to Derrick Henry's. So it's interesting. Aiden says, should he sell Joe Mixon? And I think that I would wait.
Yeah. And it depends on fair value for him. It seems like he has a lot of good other running backs like Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Right.
So based on your needs, everyone's tradable, but it's all about fair value. He's not going as a top 12, 10 running back right now, even though I think he should be.
Right.
So with that being said, if you can get a high end, if you can get a who would you consider? Depends. Like even a Kenyon Drake plus, like a DJ Moore and Kenyon Drake.
I mean, I'm not trying to acquire Kenyon Drake. That's the problem.
Right.
My answer was going to be like it was like a Miles Sanders, a week ago, but that's now gone. We saw this from Joe Mixon last year. He had a really slow start, and then second half of the season was like a running back 3. The running back 3. So just wait. You know that these days for Joe Mixon are coming. It takes him a little bit of time to get going. New offense. Joe Burrow coming in. It's just there's some growing pains here. So wait on Joe Mixon. Don't try to sell him yet. It sounds like you are heavily equipped. So yeah, just continue playing him. And he was serviceable last week, but it's not the big game you want. But I would hold. I think he will be worth a lot more value if you want to trade him. Tommy says, who do I start, Joe Mixon or David Montgomery? And as much as I love David Montgomery, I'm still starting Joe Mixon over him.
Yeah, Tommy, go Joe Mixon for sure. As Joe Burrow continues to get better, Joe Mixon will be. Hopefully, we need him involved in the passing game on third downs. We can't have Gio Bernard come out on the field. So as long as that continues to happen, that's where you're going to get the value for Joe Mixon and him to live up to that expectation we'll have for him. And he got paid, so we should see that.
Caedmon, Nick Chubb or Josh Jacobs? One, how good is your team if you're debating between these two guys?
Yeah. It's Jacobs for me because he has a full workload, even though he's a little bit banged up. Chubb's awesome. Chubb's great. He should get, for sure, the first half carries, what we've seen.
Kareem Hunt starts to eat in a little bit.
Kareem Hunt starts to eat in. And Kareem Hunt can do everything Nick Chubb can. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah. again, good problem to have. I hope you can start them both, but I would go Jacobs.
Yeah.
No name, Russell Gage or Darius Slayton. Ridley is his wide receiver 1. This is a standard league. I'm Russell Gage and Darius Slayton are very, very close in the rankings, but if you're starting Calvin Ridley, you need to get away from the double exposure. So pivoting off of Gage to go to Slayton is probably the play.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't. You're right.
I have to start one at my wide receiver spot this week. Will Fuller, Kenny Golladay, or Corey Davis. Will Fuller is a hands-off for both of us, so it really comes down to Kenny Golladay or Corey Davis.
Do you go Golladay here? We probably answered this question before. I don't know what we responded.
I don't think we've ever had Golladay or Corey Davis, but I do have some faith in Corey Davis. Man. It's just the absence of A.J. Brown that really leads me to think that in a good matchup against the Vikings, who haven't looked good on the defensive side, that Corey Davis is going to be highly targeted like he was in week 1. So I'm gonna say Corey Davis here. As much as I don't like sitting Kenny G down, that was my goal for this week, was to limit my exposure to him in his return. So
yeah, and sorry to make it hard, I would just still start my stud Kenny Golladay.
Okay. Ryan Tannehill or Big Ben, both project to have solid games. I'm gonna go Big Ben though with the better receivers.
Yep, I think I'll go Big Ben as well.
Okay. John Brown, Robert Woods, or Russell Gage. That is Robert Woods for me.
Robert Woods.
Robert Unanimous. Woods. Ethan C., welcome to the stream. Haven't seen your name before. If you're new, please consider liking or leaving a comment or even subscribing. We're trying to get to 350 subs, so be a part of the community. Check us out. See if you like our content, and we'd love to have you back. Pick one wide receiver and one flex in a full PPR. Robert Woods, Darius Slayton, Deshaun Jackson, Kareem Hunt, and Josh Kelly. Ooh, I'm going to go Robert Woods and Kareem Hunt.
I think that's the right call.
Beautiful. Aiden, should I try to sell Kittle since I also have Higbee? I think yes. I think you could.
I think the play is to wait until Kittle is fully healthy and then sell Higbee.
Yeah, I mean, if Higbee has another game, like 3 touchdowns last week, he had a pretty good week the first week. If it's 3 weeks in a row, you do have a really strong case to make that Higbee is the guy that will have long-term value, and you can sort of use the Kittle injury as a reason to not trade him because people might be trying to get him cheap. So yeah, maybe you go the Higbee route if he has one more solid game.
Yeah. Kittle's the number one option in that offense when he's healthy. Mm-hmm. He's an absolute beast. As long as his injury isn't as bad as isn't worse, I guess, is the thing. And if someone's willing to buy him as the number 1 tight end in football, or number 2 if you think it's going to be Kelsey, I just want fair value from Kittle. And if you can get optimal value from Higbee being a top 5 tight end, sell Higbee. That can't sustain for me.
Right. All right. Caleb, last question here. Already starting Juju and Deontay. Do I start Odell, Keenan Allen, or Hollywood in the flex?
Oh, dang.
It's Odell for me.
You like Odell, and I don't blame you. Are
you going Keenan here? Contrarian?
I would consider Keenan here. Just not Joshua Kelly. Herbert looks super good, and he targeted Keenan Allen a lot. They have a really good, Herbert could be just a sneaky start, sneaky play. Stack him with Keenan Allen. I think I would play Keenan. Sorry, it's really close.
I'm going
really
Odell.
Close.
Coming off a big week, finally got into the end zone. He's going to start chugging. So I'm going Odell. In a matchup they should just walk all over. So yeah, give me that. Oh, listen, Lando, that's dude, we've been running here. That's like an hour and a half. Hour and 45 minutes.
Hour and 45 minutes. We've been grinding here, guys.
It goes by so fast. And you guys being here, kicking it with us, we really, really appreciate you guys being a part of our community, helping us grow. And again, we're here all off season, all in season. We are every single week going to answer all of your questions. If you want to get us any other time, you can get me at mtout23, you can get Landon at LandoFF, producer Scott at Scott of the North, or our main channels at snap_fantasy on Instagram and Twitter. Really, really appreciate you guys. Good luck this week. Watch out for the trade videos. Watch out for some waiver wire stuff coming to you this week. And Lando, parting words.
Good luck this week, everyone. Hopefully we hit an 80% success rate. For all of you that asked the Russell Gage question, I hope he just smashes and puts up like 23 points. Let's get it. Brett, with the last question of the day, McKinnon or Gibson PPR?
McKinnon.
Go Antonio Gibson.
Oh, no. I'm going to go McKinnon.
Dang, there we go. Brett, sorry for the confusion. It should be a lot of fun. I think both have a good chance. I'm playing McKinnon in DFS, so hope they could both work out. You never know.
All right, again, thank you. Appreciate you guys. I got 12 minutes now to go set my own lineups in 11 leagues, so we're going to have to be rapid fire here, Lando.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you.